Yeah, Ashura, I was one of the. To me, you never want to have a character's death scene where you don't even realize it's an actual legitimate death scene until like 100 chapters, like 50 chapters later or something like that, like post fact. Because to me, the power of the death scene is the drama you get out of it, right? So I've said this before, I think in a previous stream, but just like what's strange to me is just that the scabbards that it seemed like Oda was killing off, Kinemon and Kiku, so those were the two scabbards that he wrote actual death scenes for, right? Keep in mind, I didn't buy Kinemon's death scene as a death scene, but I'm trying to say that in terms of trying to get dramatic juice out of a scene, out of a death scene, Oda did try to write a dramatic death scene for Kinemon for Kiku. Regardless of whether you bought either of those deaths at the time, I'm saying you can see the writing, right, and the way that Oda portrayed those deaths. He was trying to get dramatic juice out of those two scenes. Flip side is Ashura and Izzo. Those were kind of fast, sudden deaths that, you could maybe get the shock value out of, like, oh, did they die or did they not die? But Oda didn't linger really on, like, that character's send-off, I suppose, to really try and get dramatic juice out of their death scene, right? So Kinemon and Kiku were wrote more like in the Pell manner, where Oda got dramatic juice out of their death scene, like same as Pound. Kinemon, Kiku, they fall in the same category as Pell, Pound, right? Where they're getting these dramatic death scenes, Oda's squeezing this dramatic death scene juice out of them, and then revealing the character didn't actually die, right? That's always disappointing to me. But what's really disappointing is when you did actually have some characters die, but you didn't. Why didn't he squeeze any dramatic juice out of them then? If you're gonna have some death scenes, you actually are gonna have some characters die, then fucking great. Like, let's get some good scenes out of that, right? Instead, Izzo falls over. Izzo suffers basically the exact same wounds as like ex Drake and like Apu did, right? So we don't really have a reason to believe that Izzo just died. But then we find out that Izzo just died. I would have loved if. Why can't we just mix and match? Why can't, just don't do a fake out death for Kinemon and Kiku? Instead, use those real deaths for Ashura and Izzo, and let's get some dramatic juice out of them, right? It's not even like we need to be super attached to those characters. I don't think many readers were super attached to Pedro, but I think most of us appreciated that, okay, a character died, and we got like a nice death scene for that character that, we maybe didn't expect, and it was, if you felt it was effective, ineffective, or whatever, it still did something nice for the story. You can see how Pedro's death influenced the tone and the feelings of the characters in the following chapters, right? It's the way Luffy's acting, what he's saying after Pedro's death. It's the most serious that we've seen Luffy in a long time. He's clearly very upset. He's carrying that energy as he goes to fight Katakuri in the mirror world. And then the rest of the Straw Hat crew, they're in shambles. They're actually at their lowest state in the entire New World after Pedro's death. They're super depressed. They're crying. There's a full chapter devoted to them basically mourning Pedro's death. And that's really good. That also sets the tone for the rest of the Big Mom Pirates chase, right? And whether you enjoyed the rest of that section of the arc, that's its own thing. But I'm just saying that, you take a character dies, squeeze the dramatic juice out of it, does good stuff for the rest of the characters, tone of the story, raises stakes going forward. Good stuff, makes sense. I just don't get the decisions that Oda did with the characters he chose to kill or not kill here, because I could go on and on about it, but that's not what the stream is about.